I've reached out to Michael Connory at Security in Depth to talk about a host of stories that are impacting on people at the moment. And one of those stories, of course, is the rise in conspiracies, the super trolling that we see on a host of different social media. Can you give me an idea why we allow all of this to just continue as it does? Surely there must be some filters, some safeguards to protect not only us, but the broader community from having bullies who want to be entertained, just feel free to do what they need to do.
Well, absolutely. The major software companies, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, these organisations, Instagram, they don't require anybody to validate who they are.
Why?
And because it's easier for their platform. It's easier for their platform to grow, and as their platform grows, they can monetize it through advertising and through different services that they offer. And by doing that, they're making a significant profit. And you know, in one way, they're controlling the messages of the world.
But do you ever see a day when you won't be able to have an avatar? It'll have to be your name. It'll be your validation. I've always thought that's what your name was. It was your brand. But people have created, different guises, different disguises, and different avatars and monikers to hide behind. And with that ability to, as they say, submerge themselves behind another identity, they can go and say anything they so want.
Well, they can, and they do. You know, we've seen that conspiracies flourish because of this. You know, individuals without any identity can add a modicum of truth into a story.
So and half plausible, and everyone buys into it.
And people start to buy into it. 5G is the perfect example. You know, I saw one gentleman talk about that the microwaves, the waves are exactly the same within a microwave as to the 5G tower. They don't realise that it's significantly different, but they're communicating that it's exactly the same.
Okay, now that you touched on it, once and for all, from Michael Connory at Security in Depth, tell me about 5G. Safe or unsafe? Come on.
Absolutely safe.
Absolutely.
100% safe. And we've spoken to experts about it.
So, and why do we allow it to continue to, it's like a rolling ball of energy.
It is.
People just will not believe us.
No, people won't. People believe that this is a conspiracy, that individuals are responsible for doing this. People like Bill Gates, people like Warren Buffett, people like Donald Trump. These are the individuals that are behind these global conspiracies to try to take over the world.
Now, we've got an election in America coming up soon.
We do.
Remember the accusations that followed the last election when Donald Trump got through? They said Russian cyberspace experts channeled certain material into this particular election platform and gave him the edge that got him over the line. Well, what's going to happen this time round?
Well, it's not just Russian. So if you have a look at it, it was also US. You had Cambridge Analytica taking information from Facebook, you know, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, and then identifying approximately 70,000 people that are potential swing voters, and then bombarding them with anti-Hillary Clinton. You also had the Russians come in, and it's been found to be true that the Russians came in and impacted as well with election fraud and with tampering with machines and tampering with how people vote. So an election was fixed in one way, or it swung too far to Trump.
To super correct.
To super correct. And it will happen again.
I noticed you didn't mention the Chinese. So the Chinese did not have a hand in anything that happened in the United States.
Well, they always have a hand in everything that happens in the US. They've got significant financial investments in the US. The US trade to China is critical. It's a critical path. But I believe, and this is only my personal belief, that the Chinese are more interested in the IP, the information, the intellectual property, the ideas that are coming out of the US and out of universities and out of the...
Why is that? I would have thought they'd have some of the brightest minds in the world.
Well, they do.
In their country.
No, absolutely they do. But sometimes it's much easier to be able to go to, you know, a university that's doing research on the latest nuclear power or a latest piece of technology that has spent 10 years and millions of dollars investing in R&D and taking it.
We've seen a couple of governments. Donald Trump said the other day that Huawei, the Chinese IT company or telco, was not one that they wanted to do any work with. They also talked about TikTok, which is a Chinese-based social media platform, and he said it's got to be sold to America or this, that, and the other. If that is the case, why aren't we seeing governments putting their hand up and saying to these businesses, look, you're perfectly welcome to live and work and play and run your businesses in our country, but there's going to be a measure of order added to this platform. In other words, we're going to demand, we're going to require you not only to pay some tax, but we're also going to require you to make sure that each and every identity is verified. And it is Bill Smith or Bill Gates who is sending you that message, and not some trumped up troll who's decided that his Friday nights, maybe he's a Collingwood fan and he's having a bad season, and he's got some extra time and he's going to take advantage of it, playing games on the internet. Can we not see governments demand more from the internet service providers and the other companies involved?
Oh, the governments will definitely demand more, there's no doubt about that. But I'm jaded, so I have to apologise. I'm absolutely jaded here. From my reality is that organisations like Twitter, Microsoft, Facebook, all of these organisations, Instagram, all of these organisations are multi-billion dollar companies. And they trillion dollar company. And they have enough money and power to be able to influence elections, to be able to influence and create laws that suit their particular needs. They want more people to come onto their platforms. They want it easy to access their platforms. Putting in a control like actually proving who you are, your identity, they don't want to do that. That will significantly impact their ability to be able to grow their business.
Now, the security devices, the various programs, anti this and anti that, that Security in Depth are making and using for different clients, are you being called upon more and more to try and help those businesses stay ahead and stay in front of the security risk?
No, we're really focusing on the individual. So we've got a product called Guard My ID, and that product is based on helping you protect your digital identity online and making sure that you are who you say you are and that nobody's trying to copy you. I don't know, but has anybody ever tried to copy you?
Yes.
Your,
Yes, when I was at Channel 10, there were 3 or 4 identity platforms that said they were me, and I remember at Channel 10 spent an inordinate amount of time and money to make sure that those sites were eventually closed down. I think there's still one roaming around somewhere in London. So Michael, what can we do? Security in Depth, the sort of work you do for your clients, you create individual programs that will protect them from identity theft and this, that and the other. Is this something that's continuing to grow?
Well, it's not growing fast enough. People aren't taking enough care with their online identity. There's still a trust there. There's still this belief that the internet is good, that is all good. That you can go on and you can get information on any topic, anywhere, at any time, which is great for most people. It's wonderful. It's the trolls, it's the individuals that are using it for nefarious means. That they have a malicious intent. They want to steal your ID. They want to impact your business. They want to create instant wealth through extortion and through different means. And it's horrible, and it's happening more and more and more. In Australia, for example, identity theft during July is up 127% over the same time last year, because people are going online, they're using their identities are being compromised, and hackers, these thieves, these criminals, are taking advantage.
I cannot believe that in this day and age we would have so many cowboys taking advantage of this internet, which is an extraordinary place not only to shop and do whatever you need. And during a pandemic, the only thing you can do is, especially if you live in Victoria,
Yeah.
you're told stay where you are and we'll deliver the goods to you. And it's an ideal time, I would have thought, for more of these shysters to play even more of their games. So what would you recommend? Would you recommend a VPN on each and every device that you have?
A VPN helps, absolutely. It will help protect you. But
So
it's
is there
not
something better than a VPN?
You need to use defense in depth, in a way, security in depth. You need to be able to have a layered approach. It's not just a single approach. A VPN is great. You need to have a really strong password, and you can't. People use the same password over and over again. So utilising a password manager such as Dashlane or LastPass, they're free and they're great quality.
Just humour me for a moment. How does Dashlane work?
Okay.
Do I make up one, or does Dashlane just offer me and then keep a list of my chosen options?
Well, you download the application onto your computer
Right, so
or onto your
Dashlane,
phone.
we download it, right?
And there's an algorithm within that component that you can set
that
creates a password.
Okay.
And then it'll keep it on your device. Dashlane never sees it. Nobody ever sees it except you.
Okay.
But on top of that, you need to have multi-factor or two-factor authentication, that one-time password. And if you've got, you use a VPN, multi-factor password, and a password manager, you're at 95% safe.
Gee, I like the fact you said 95. Thank goodness you left them with 5% to play with.
There's always something.
Michael Connory, thank you very much. I hope your football team does better than some of the stuff we've been talking about today.
Go Pies.